Hey, my friends, can you believe it's Friday again? Another Friday, and this is really a hashtag Road Warrior Randy week. Been at Tampa, if you've been following my posts, having a live trade show again, which was kind of fun to do. And now sitting here in the office, ready to have some conversation that you're going to find very interesting and amusing. A couple, three, four of my brothers and potential sisters in the world of masterminds, the Megaminds. And we're going to chat about this kind of where we came from, how we got here over the last couple of years, and if you got any questions, thoughts, comments. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Randu.
Oh, what a day!
Wes, we're having some difficulties again here with tech.
Can't hear us?
you.
Randy, can you hear us? So,
Yeah.
welcome to Litvak Leadership Live as guest co-hosting with Wes Wyatt.
You're completely muted again.
Building Wins.
You want to go dead and try again?
Yes. Let's. Why don't you? You know what? Why don't you go out and back in, Randy? And what we'll do is I will edit this and repost it.
Yeah, I got nothing. I can't hear you.
You can't hear. Okay, wait one sec. What's up, Mr. Law?
Oh, Tim is here.
All
you
right,
know, how
wait-
could I
wait one
not?
second.
How could I not be on Building Wins Live, the Megamind edition?
There you go.
Having some technical difficulties today, Timothy.
So it's the as I'll keep saying until Randy comes back. It is Litvak Leadership co-hosting with Wes Wyatt on Building Wins. So Tim, tell us about your big bar expansion. We know you've been driving towards 10,000 followers on Instagram. How did you get there? Are you there yet? What are you doing? Because the month of October is when I want to understand Instagram.
All right. So the truth is, I had very little to do with it. It's my client, and we've been driving engagement for them for about 2 years. But they were about 20 people away a couple of days ago, and I just put out the notice to my friends and family, and within 5 minutes, I had 55 likes for them. So
boom.
So they get the little check. They get the little blue check mark now. So that's
whoa! That's what 10,000 likes means. You get a blue check mark.
On Instagram, for what I'm told.
And I guess that signifies that you're real and legitimate in the Instagram social media world.
Yep, it'll only be a couple of weeks for you, Sean Litvak. I know that people will be, stopping what they're doing to make sure they follow you. I know I will.
And Instagram, it's interesting because now that and Wes, just tell me to shut up at any time. But now that LaurenLeeArt.com has launched, I am learning more about Instagram because the CEO of Lauren Lee Art turns to me and says, "What does this mean on Instagram? Can you tell me about this?" And it's funny because I just kind of look at her and go, "Yeah, this is the social media platform I know the least about." So Tim, fill us with your Instagram knowledge.
You're asking the wrong guy. I got to be honest, I hire people to run those kind of things for me. See, Sean, as much like you, my goal is I'm a closer. So my goal is to engage and PR my clients and prospects to death, and then have the bullets in the gun that are back at the studio that can do the actual work. So if you would like, I'll hook you and my designer, Katie, up because she is the Instagram guru in our studio.
I am writing this down. I would love to talk to Katie about Instagram. Just even 20 minutes of her life to explain to me what she thinks are the 10 most important things, because now I just kind of throw stuff up and go, okay, now what? You know what I'm saying?
Sean, if you're willing, I will share with you my Skillshare username and password. And then you can watch all the videos and classes you want on Instagram until your eyes bleed.
Please.
All right. I will do that for you.
And it's called Skillshare?
Skillshare. If you ever want to know how to do something on Photoshop or Instagram in this case, or any other kind of software, in marketing, especially, there's someone who's given a class on it, and it's multi segmented, but it's really good. You can learn. Yeah.
I use Skillshare as well, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Randu, can you hear us and see us?
I can hear you and see you. Can you hear me?
Awesome. We can hear and see.
Get out of it. I thought I was worried because I was going to lose my spot to you. I was going to be building wins live with Wes Wyatt, and that's all done. My career is shortened.
Oh man, that would be a bad show.
It was a hell of a run, though.
Yeah.
Tim, Sean, Wes, how you doing, brothers?
Hey, man.
Doing fantastic.
Technology. You know what happened? I got here without my iPad or my PC because I'm traveling. I tried to get on my iPad, and you know what it was finally? And Wes, you watch out because I may not need you after a while. I'm getting pretty smart. I realized that I had my Bluetooth on my iPad and my iPhone, and they were not working. So there we are.
They fight like that sometimes, don't they?
Wes, I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Appreciate that, brother.
You're welcome.
Well, carry on for a moment. I don't want to interrupt.
No, I was just jumping on to say hi. I've got a call in about 20 minutes, and I've had a crazy day. Let me tell you about my day. I have a friend who has a high-end ad agency in downtown Boston, and because of COVID, this 35,000 square foot building, a floor in the seaport of Boston, which is $125,000 a month in rent, is a ghost town. His department has decided to go it's a kind of a company within a company, has decided to go remote. And he asked me if I wanted his custom made high end conference table that is solid glass. It's like a half-inch thick beveled glass that is painted on the back black, and then sandblasted on the top. Wow. And 6 leather high-end chairs. Probably the thing costs $5,000 or $6,000 to make. Would you like it? Yes. So he goes, we have to get it out of here. So I rented a U-Haul, drove to Boston, loaded it up, and had some friends help carry it up the stairs. So that's what I did today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
expect to see some pictures.
Yeah, yes. I'll send you a picture. In fact, I've got a I think you'll like the picture because it's got I found the perfect centerpiece for the table. So I'll post that in Megamind.
That's awesome.
We'd like pictures of you going up the stairs with the table.
Screaming, pivot.
And that actually happened. I called 2 of my young sales friends and said, what are you and your muscles doing around lunchtime? And they just came over, helped me, and there was a pivot at one point.
I'll bet. That's awesome. Well, if you got to go, let me ask you a quick question or two, if you don't mind. Do you have another 5 minutes or no?
I do. Sure.
Okay. So the big part of what I wanted to chat about today, plus anything we want to chat about, because when us Megamind type people get together, we go into directions we never know where we'll go, right? But what I want a lot of my folks that tune in at some point in time to get a grasp for is, what is a mastermind? What has it done for us? And I guess I'd love to hear from your perspective. We all know it on here because we've all talk all the time, but what is the last 2 years, and what is being involved with a mastermind group done for you? Because I mean, as we go through this little conversation for the next 30, 40 minutes, I wouldn't be doing any of the stuff I do right now if it wasn't for getting involved with this group of people. So what's that done for you?
Well, I think you nailed it. We wouldn't be doing the stuff we're doing without the people and the support. I can't imagine the last 2 years without this group. I mean, it kept me motivated. And I like to say I am blessed and grateful. Our business grew over this time, and living vicariously through everyone's successes and failures and heartaches and crush and brags has been almost like a family. I don't know. It sounds kind of mushy, but I just, as we grow, go on, as you all know, most masterminds don't last this long. Maybe 6 months, maybe a year, but here we are, headed towards our second anniversary in June. We're all not as involved as we used to be, but we are constantly listening and constantly supporting. So I don't know if I think that if I had to nail it down to one thing, it would be the love and support of like-minded people.
Right. Well, and Wes, don't you think, and Sean, that the other thing, when you hit family, I think it makes sense, but it's not everybody always gets what people that do what we do, right? They don't get it as much. Family members don't always get it. Some of our friend sets don't always get it if they're not in the world of that we're all involved with sales and marketing and promotions. So sometimes having a group of people that you can, like you talked about, crush and brag. If we go to certain groups of friends, I know I have friends right now that are going, shut up, Randy. I don't want to hear your big deal. They just don't want to hear about that, right? But in our group, not only do we want to hear it, but we start applauding and cheering and marching around the room in lockstep, right? I mean, isn't that a big deal, Wes and Sean, of what we got out of this too?
Absolutely. I mean, when when we get together or on, Facebook Messenger that, constantly, occasionally throughout the day, blip, we're hearing about each other's successes and each other's challenges. So we're definitely keeping it real. I mean, where we started with this was a bunch of strangers coming together saying, the world is shut down. What do we do? And, we were all attempting to engage in our own businesses, some far more effectively than others. Yes, Michelle, Jesse, Vincent, I'm looking at you, who just rocked it during the shutdown. And we just all grew and learned from each other. I mean, StreamYard, what was that? Instagram, why would I bother? And so many different things that we've learned. But at the same time, when people have had challenges, we've been there to support each other.
Exactly. My girlfriend asked me, well, what kind of business have you gotten out of this group? I said, well, I have, because some websites we've done. But if I got nothing out of it financially, I would have paid to be part of it. As I like to say, it's the best $97 I've ever spent.
Yeah, exactly. Wes, what did I know what you got out of it, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that I think number one, a mastermind does, we've already kind of covered in this beginning of the broadcast, and that is Sean was asking about how to do something. Tim said, I use Skillshare. I then, added that I use Skillshare. He said something about affiliate marketing. He needs to find out about it. I said, I know about affiliate marketing. I'll tell you. And he said, I'll get with you. So just in this little tiny bit of speaking together, we were able to solve a bunch of problems just like that. Okay. And I spoke about this on a video actually this morning. And the benefits of a mastermind is that there is always someone that knows just a smidge more than you. And if you are going to go out and get better at tennis, you don't go and get the kid, that's smacking balls over the fence. You get somebody that's going to clean your butt, on the court, and they're going to make you better. Okay. You don't get better by playing that kid and taking him to task, So what our mastermind does is it puts a bunch of professionals in one space, and everybody can almost have a a hive knowledge, like the Borg. If you're a fan of sci-fi, we were able to kind of assimilate the knowledge, and then when we run out of knowledge to gain from each other, we each in many cases have interview shows and or some sort of dealings with other people, whether it be a book. You get books in the mail, you get something that you've looked at, then we go and share, and now it's new information into that group, and it just keeps flowing and flowing and flowing. Right. And I mean, you can't beat it.
Exactly.
It's true.
It is true. It is. We talk about where we're, and I mentioned that when I finally figured out the techno world here today, that I wouldn't, the amount of stuff that I've learned, and Tim, you hit on it early a few minutes ago, and you said I don't know what the cost would have been, but I'd probably paid it to be involved in this group, because when this whole shutdown world started and we knew we had to change the way we did business, the way we conducted ourselves on a day-to-day basis, I wouldn't be doing a show. I wouldn't be guesting. And I've had the opportunity to guest on both Sean and yours, Tim and Eric's show. I screwed up so bad on Sean's, he invited me back twice again, which but anyways, my point though is that, walk and talk videos, all the stuff that we all do now, second nature. 2 years ago, if you said, somebody called me up and said, Randy, I'm doing this live show on a broadcast on the World Wide Web, and would you come on and talk about something? I would go, are you crazy? Hell no, right? Because I would have been scared to death, wouldn't have known what to do. If I would have done it, I'd have really sucked. And now we've learned through doing this together, right, that if somebody buzzed me right now and said, hey, can you be on in 30 minutes? I say, sure, I don't even care what you want to talk about, right? Is it right, Sean? I mean,
absolutely.
And that goes so far, not only in my opinion, I guess where I'm getting at long-winded here, but not only did we learn together by doing all these things and teaching each other and helping each other, but that makes, I think, me and my road warrior part of my persona that I do when I just got back from a trade show, I am even better, I think, in presenting myself, my ideas, my thoughts in person, because I've learned to do it where you feel more uncomfortable if you screw up, right? When you're on a live show that is going to be watched potentially thousands of times over the next week or two or three or four, right? So it creates a confidence level that I don't think you would pick up any other way. Does that make any sense at all, or am I nuts?
No, makes perfect sense.
Oh, go ahead, Tim.
No, I said it makes perfect sense.
I got three other points I want to make about this situation as well. One, we started off, you were talking about, Randy, going through and not feeling comfortable. We started this broadcast off with technical difficulty. Okay, right. So think about this. Before COVID and before everybody started going live, you would see these broadcasters, and I mean, we're talking about buttoned up success, everything 1000%, controlled. You go fast forward to COVID, and you got kids walking in from the background. You got dogs barking. You got packages being delivered. You can hear the Ring doorbell, going off on their phone. And you know what they do? It's not this, oh my gosh, the network's going to cancel us. It's, guys, live video, And the reason why is because we've made a turn. So now let's go to step two, okay, that I want to cover. Tim was just talking about a friend that is going from a gigantic space to going virtual, okay? There's a couple years ago where you would have somebody say, we need to work from home. Oh, no, the security won't work. We can't put the proprietary software online, and the people will not work when they're at home, okay? Well, guess what? COVID come, and what did we do? We moved virtual, okay? So it is something that's constantly evolving. And the reason why we didn't do it before was that dreaded thing that you never want to hear a company say. It's the way we've always done it. Okay. Right. If you are a place where it's the way we've always done it, leave. okay? Because you're not going to grow. All right. You need to go to the place where they say, how can we change? How can we get better? All right. Third thing, Tim was talking about, bringing up a client's Instagram following. He took a message out because he engages, and not just with Megaminds, okay, with everybody. Asked for a favor, 5 minutes later, 10,000 followers, okay? Now, he was almost there. I mean, it wasn't 10,000 followers in 5 minutes. However, just by going out there and engaging, he was able to, get that done. So we've turned a corner, guys. The world has gotten much smaller. And the thing is that if you're not doing video, and if you're not engaging, and if you're not putting the social into social media, get out of the game, because you're going to fall behind and you're going to go the way of the dodo.
No doubt.
Well, and you talk about putting the social in social media. I'm one of the people that has been most hesitant to show personal as opposed to just professional, either cleaning or leadership or whatever. And I've had to come to terms with people want to get to know people individually, because on social, that is how they're having a relationship with you. And as an extrovert, I've been able to avoid that until COVID hit. And I've had to learn step by step, because I'm not great at it yet, embracing that to show people the personal.
And I think it's a good point, because that's a challenge for a lot of people to do that. And I know I battle, and our mutual brother and friend, Eric Bam, I know he always talks a lot about, talking about yourself first, right? And your family and business 2 or 3 down the level, right? And I think that makes sense, because we've all been doing that in our personal, in-person world in the past, and doing it again now, but it's always, in our case, Wes Inc., Sean Inc., Randy Inc., Tim Inc., right? If we don't sell ourselves first, that is the first and foremost thing we have to sell, right? But we just get to do it so I guess I will back up. If we don't do that in virtual, we're missing the boat. Because before they want to look at my goofy screw that's got the greatest paint system and this super tip and all this garbly goop that I might talk about.
That's a technical term, by the way.
Yeah, it is a technical term.
Did you say your super screw is loose? Is that what you just said?
We'll go with that, because I can't repeat what I just said. I just made it up on the go. But the point is, if you can't you got to do some of the stuff you do in person, but you get to do it online. You can't. If I go in and introduce myself to a potential client, the first thing I'm going to do is get them to know Randy, right? And I want to know Tim. We got to develop a bond, a relationship, a trust. And if you go on virtual, you're reaching hundreds or thousands of people every time you go out, as opposed to one person. And I think it's a big mistake if you don't continually engage them as you develop your social program, whether it be this type of shows, video walk and talks, postings. What I've learned is that I better make sure, and that's why I post stuff at the vineyard with the hashtag Dixie Chick, right? Because people want to know that I'm a real guy. There you go, Wes. The people want to know that I'm a real person, right? And I think we do that. I know that all of us do that in our non or pre-virtual world, if you will. And why in the world wouldn't we do that? And I know we all do. I'm just asking this as a rhetorical question more than anything else. But why wouldn't anybody that's looking to get involved in this, and as Wes said so eloquently, if you don't, you're nuts. But you need to get involved, not instead of, in addition to, right? But if you don't show who you are and let people know who you are, you're not. I'm not going to say you're not going to win at that game, but you're going to be way far behind people that do, right?
I think that people don't get involved because they want an excuse for not succeeding.
Well, and so many people are afraid of change. This has really brought that to the forefront, where there's still people waiting for things to get back to normal, and the way things are going to be. I mean, it's and people just refusing to embrace video. And to those people that stumble across this, that are refusing to embrace video, I just want to say, look at Wes. Wes is nice and bright, but his background is kind of disheveled, but that's about who he is because it's got the ring light and the monitors and everything. Tim has this beautiful background behind him, and his light is very even. Randy's working on a phone. Okay, so he's got those black bars going on, and I'm sitting in a cabin in Gatlinburg where I really have no lighting at all other than a lamp over here, and I got everything else off because it would look terrible. So my video is kind of dark, but nonetheless, we're all still here doing the best we can on video, having a conversation.
You've never looked so good, Sean.
Yeah, I was going to say the darker the room is, the better you look, but I guess I went too far, right?
Does it really look that disheveled back there?
I knew, yeah, well, but in a very high-end superstar West look.
Yes.
I do agree with you, Sean. No, I do agree with you. You know, people are, the people that we connected with are people that do things,
Right. Well, what you said, Sean, too, I think that is the beauty, and it ties into what Wes said a while ago about the kid running in the room, or the dog barking or the Ring doorbell going off. Mm-hmm. That is, I don't think in this world that we're living in now and working in and will continue to be involved with, the terms raw and organic come to my mind. That's, people don't want to see what we're doing here as this polished, with a director with his little clapboard and it's all perfect lighting. They want to see real, right? They want to see real. What's more real than saying, "Hey, honey, just a minute. I'm, Daddy's doing a video here. Could you come back in a minute?" Who doesn't love that, right? I mean, that's not a negative in my opinion. And my point and I think we all brought it up, is don't be hesitant if you're going to get involved in doing these things with thinking you got to be perfect. Almost less perfect to some degree is better than too perfect, in my opinion.
Right. Gentlemen, I have to jump off. I have to jump off, but I wanted to thank you for allowing me to jump in on the Building Wins Live.
Love it.
I think you guys are rock stars, and I will chat with you guys soon.
It was awesome seeing you, Tim. We need to catch up, brother.
Absolutely, guys. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Do you agree with that, Sean? I mean, we don't need to be, because what you said a minute ago, and I want to hear what your thoughts are. But 2 weeks ago, wasn't it, Wes, when we had, or maybe 3, when Ben Gay III was on, and I literally left an open house, drove 4 miles down the road, pulled under a tree, stuck the phone on my little phone mount in the car, and we went live. I mean, I pulled into the shade tree like 7 minutes before we're going live. Wes and Ben are already talking. We did it, and I literally hit the phone. Thanks, guys, and I'm off driving down the road again. That's the beauty of sometimes I'm from my home office here momentarily, and then I'm leaving again. I just stopped in here to do this and not even set up. Sometimes we do it from a little more of a, air quotes, home studio, right? But we can be in a hotel room, on trade floor show, riding down the road in a car. I probably ought to pull off. But, it's so easy to do this, is I think the point we're all trying to maybe addressing right now, right? Because I've seen you do some shows, Sean, from the road.
Oh, I've done shows where I've set up my laptop when I'm sitting in a vehicle and use my phone as a hotspot. Then there's other times where I've just done it directly from my phone. And, if you're doing it from your phone, it's difficult to get the comments up. So I'll just tell people, hey, I'm doing this from my phone. Post all the comments you want, and I'll respond to them later. But it is a matter of being willing to go out and engage with people. And is it going to be perfect all the time? No. Is it going to, affect everybody? No. But just the effort of going out and speaking and getting on live and interviewing people and putting yourself out there, I think there's a certain realism to it that pre-COVID, when people would stream, like Wes said, it was just perfect. And now it seems like most of the live streams I see, I'm like, look at how bad that lighting is. Look at, but they've got like thousands of people watching it. So that the content is is very good, and we're all learning. And that, you're able to say, hey, let's have some Megaminders on, and we pop in, shows the power of knowing people. I mean, I didn't meet you guys in person until, what was it, May, when I think we all went to Cincinnati. There's the picture.
Yeah, there's a picture.
And that was the first time we'd all met in person.
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of amazing. And if you remember, the waitress was like, oh, how long have you guys known each other? And our answer was, well, in person or virtually.
Yeah.
She was like,
yeah.
huh? Because we'd never, I mean, it was funny and for the people watching it, when I met Wes, the first thing I said was, wow, you're really tall. I had no idea. And when I met Randy, I was like, you're shorter than me. I didn't realize that.
And you really needed to bring that up. It's my show. Hey.
But we're all sitting here on chairs, or like we're at a stand-up desk and everyone's the same height. We've all got the same space between us and the top of the screen. I mean, it's kind of funny.
It is. And I think that's a key too, Sean, because you can get on phone calls and chat with people, but until you get on and you're on video back and forth and you're chatting, in the early times when we didn't travel at all, that's all we did, because we do it. I mean, we was all chatting via video 700 times a day because we had nothing else to do, right? But as time changes and we're doing more of a hybrid, as I call it, normal, of some old, some new, combining them, right? But the key that I think anybody, and Wes and I have talked about this, and Wes, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know I want my folks to hear your thoughts, is we've talked about this of, some people are going to start doing more virtual, but as soon as it's COVID, let's say, whatever, pandemic, lockdown, whatever you want to call this, is quote over to some degree, there's a lot of people going to go right back to not doing anything again, right? And just doing all old school only. And I think Wes, much more eloquent than I'm saying this now, but the guys that continue to do this forever. This is a forever thing. It's not just now I backed off. I was at one point doing 3-4 shows a week sometimes, right? Because I couldn't travel, so I might as well get Wes on and we'll do a show, right?
Right.
But I do less now because, like I said, I got home an hour ago, and then I'm heading out. Like as soon as I tear this down, so that it's not a mess when the hashtag Dixie chick gets back with me in a month here, because that would be the last thing. If he walks in and I've got this mess setting here, it's over. I won't be doing any more shows. I'll be lucky I'm alive. Yeah, it'll be over. But I mean, literally set up, do the show, talk to my brothers and friends, tear it down, out the door. I'll be at the hotel by the airport 45 minutes after we're done talking. That is the combining that I like to talk about, Wes, right? Of the old and the new. You use one to augment the other and the other to augment the other, right? It's not a one or the other anymore. Agreed?
Totally agreed. And by the way, I don't think I say anything eloquently. I really appreciate that, but it's all pretty down home and straight to the point. But the thing that I said, oddly enough, this morning was, I believe that energy and persistence conquer all things. That's Benjamin Franklin, not mine. And, energy in this particular case is the action of just getting online and doing it. And the persistence is, literally persisting and consistently going online. And what happens when you do that is, regardless of your actual knowledge, okay, now I'm not telling someone to, number one, fake it till they make it. And I'm not telling you to fleece people. But I will say this: the longer you tell somebody that you're good at something, they are going to believe that you're good at it, because you've told them over and over and over and over again, to the point that you become a brand nomer. Okay. And a brand nomer, if you're not familiar with what that is, that's calling a cotton swab a Q-tip, a facial tissue a Kleenex. Okay. Right. So if you have made it to where you're the sales guy, then you are going to be the sales guy to people in their mind. When they're thinking about sales, they're going to call that guy. Okay. So, and it's purely by just going out there and saying over and over and over again, I can help you with this. Okay. So, and that may be a jingle, that may be a certain kind of branding to where when you see that color, you just automatically think, for that concept. But the biggest thing is doing it and consistently doing it, because Randy, you could not be any more correct than ever that when all this goes to whatever we go back to and call the way that we're back to normal, then when that happens, the people that aren't made to go online are going to leave. The people that are still left, most people are going to fade off, because that's what people do. Okay. Like as an example, again, this morning I brought it up. I have a podcast I've done 94 weeks straight. Okay. 85% of the people that have a podcast don't update it regularly. Okay. So if you have done a regular podcast for any amount of time in a row, and you have been fairly consistent or consistent, you're 85% of the people are away and you're ahead of them. You're in a 15% tile by just having updated. Okay. So the people that stay and actually take advantage of this, they're going to be the rulers of this world. Okay. And I don't mean the rulers of the world, the rulers of the online world. Okay. So the biggest thing is, whether it's the log cabin, the disheveled war room that you see back here,
and dishevel's the wrong word. I got a better word when you're done.
Well, it is a technical cluster back there. I fully will tell you. But my point is, there's not a pile of dirty clothes back there.
Right.
You don't see a unmade bed. There's not a cat taking, a liberty in a cat box doing what cats do. And there's not a toilet seat with a toilet with the seat open. You see a myriad of just flabbergasting things behind people. Okay, in these videos, whether it be something that's on their counter, or something that they just don't realize there's a mirror, or whatever the case may be, just be somewhat professional. Okay, you don't know. I might be sitting here in my underwear, but you wouldn't know it. Okay, I'm not.
Ooh,
but
there's a thought. There's a thought.
There's a thought. All right. But the thing is that if I look like I am, I got news for you. A lot of the anchors, they're not wearing, suit pants. They have a suit jacket and they're wearing like cargo shorts. Okay. It's a illusion. Okay. But the thing is that if you have a little bit of success behind you, like a little bit of professionalism, if you have what Sean mentioned, some good lighting, and you are trying to deliver a concise message, you can do that over and over and over again. And the beauty of it is, the first one will be the worst one, and they'll get better from there.
Well, and to piggyback on that, your background, disheveled's the wrong word. Busy is the right word.
It is busy.
I'm going to use that to launch into this next thing, is that when people say, well, where do I start? I don't have all that equipment. Okay, get one thing. You got your phone. Okay. When I first started doing Litvak Leadership Live, if someone had said, I want you to go out and interview people 155 times for a half hour or more, I'd have been like, you want me to do what? How am I going to do that? But you know what? I interviewed one person. And then the next day I interviewed another person. And then when, like Randy said, when things started picking up, I paused. In fact, my wife told me to pause. And I took a month off from interviewing people and went from daily to weekly instead. And now I'm taking another pause. But this pause, at this point, I'm at 155 interviews from when I started the day after Labor Day in 2020. I mean, at that point, I had no idea that I would get to that many interviews. My initial goal was just to make it to the end of the year. And then my goal after that was to go to 100 interviews. And after that, I was like, I'm really kind of enjoying this and learning a ton. So I think people just need to get over the fear of, what am I going to look like? How do I do it? And just go do it. and you're going to figure it out as you move forward. And then one day you will be like the social media legend, Wes Wyatt.
Well,
which we all want to be.
I always laugh when you say that, but I will tell you this, and this is something that I don't mean to keep saying to build on, but to build on something that Sean just said. If you think about just 3 shows that are on the Megamind radar, and by the way, we could actually say 5 shows. Let's say Bruce's show, Kellen Shell's show, Sean's show, the Penalty Box, and Building Wins. Okay, and there's others as well. Okay, but just those 5 programs. If you were to go and look at the guests that have been on those 5 programs and look at some of the power players that have been on there, the one thing that you want to keep in mind is that when you do these things, not only are you doing it and getting, the engagement and the putting the social back in social media, but one of the biggest things that you need to realize, and Ray Higdon says this, and it always just makes me laugh, and that is he still to this day, I believe his wife is Jessica. If I'm wrong about that, Ray, and you somehow or another see this, I apologize. But Ray said that he still to this day has got people that will join something and call him and say, I just joined up with that, whatever. And it may be a juice company. Okay. And he'll say, I haven't been in it for 3 or 4 years. Okay. But the thing that happened was every time we do a video like this or an interview or a post or whatever it is that we're doing, it's one little piece of digital real estate. Okay.
Yep.
And we are creating what is at some point going to be, a little village, and then a town, and then, a county. And I mean, next thing you know, it's a country. All right. And it's going to live out there for the, life of whatever platform we're on. And it also is why you want to keep one thing in mind, and that is it takes decades and longer sometimes to build something up, and it can take quite literally one mess up to tear it down. So as you're going through and doing stuff, make sure that you are your, absolute, real self and
Be genuine
self, and you are sticking to as much of an evergreen kind of a personality as you can, with the lack of sex, religion, politics, things like that, because one thing can quite literally sink the ship. And there's just no reason for that, to put all that effort out and then have one bonehead thing that you said sink the ship, so it's better to just stay Sweden and go completely, neutral, and the stuff that you're putting out, make sure that it is not a personal opinion, but a, kind of like politically correct one.
So I hear what you're saying, but I think people can do that and should do that, but they cannot be disingenuous to themselves at the same time. I mean, there's guests that I've had on the show where they've said things and I've been like, no, I disagree 100%. And here's why. And we've had a thoughtful conversation about it. It's a matter of not being ugly when you're disagreeing with someone. But I think that, I've had on Litvak Leadership Live some political conversations with people. I've had faith conversations with people, being open-minded in the conversation. For me, at least personally, to just walk strictly down the neutral road is the same thing as me not sharing personal items on social media, because that would be me being more concerned about follower count. Now, this is me. I'm not saying you, Wes, but me being more concerned about follower count than being true to myself in my opinions and the foundations that they're built on. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, but I think that we probably had a differing version of what I meant. So let me clarify that. I've got the Kramer hanging up right here. Okay. Yeah. Clearly, I am a Seinfeld fan.
Absolutely.
Right? That's not going to I guess surprise anybody. Now, if I were to tilt the camera just a little bit more, you'd notice that I also have a picture of Jesus and a cross. Okay. Now, something that I would be talking about is if I had a Trump or a Biden banner in behind me, or if I had, instead of Superman over my shoulder, a pagan god, with the horns, sitting over there, or if I had a, sign on my desk back here that said, there's only two sexes, boy and girl, or something. That's what I'm talking about. Don't be that guy or that girl that goes and says, I'm only this, because it's going to automatically like, for instance, if I said I'm a Trump guy, 50% of my people go away. Okay, if they're Biden people, and vice versa. Okay, and then the other thing is I'm talking about the cancel culture kind of a stuff more than anything, Sean. Not I guess hearty engagement with people. That I have zero problem with that, and what you do is 1,000% respectful. And Randy and I have talked about this kind of stuff as well. There's certain things that you can say and certain things you can't say. All three of us have got foul mouths. I would dare you to find me cursing online. And the reason why is because the people that say, well, I can't control it, you can control it. And I know you can control it because I sound like a sailor outside of this. And so do the two of you. So it's not it's not a spoiler alert. It's just that stuff. If you have to do that to get your point across, your point is moot. Yes. I don't think it adds anything to getting the point across. And why I do it in my personal life, who knows? But what I'm saying is that you do have to have that self-control. You can't blurt stupid things out and expect non-things to happen, from it. So with that said, I think that we were probably on the same thought process. I think that you took it just to where I meant, absolutely never talk about that stuff. What I meant is don't ever take a stand. It's kind of like I was talking about business. If you say that's how we've always done it and that's how I'm staying, then you're in trouble. Because someone's going to change your mind. That's a fact. So,
speaking of live, power. Hopefully, I won't just drop off.
Oh, yeah. What's Barry say? What's Barry say there, Wes? I'm on my phone. I can't read that.
Since Randy and I had one of those thoughtful situations this week, we had a deep conversation with open-minded people, but our opinions differed. It was nice to see for a change.
Yes, I remember the conversation. Barry and I were together all week at a trade show. We were friends and buddies and pals, and been involved together in the sales world for years. And he is absolutely right. It was a conversation that, and I'm not naming names, so that would be dumb, but it was a conversation with some very, very good customers of mine. And we had some differing opinions over a beverage or two. And we had some differing opinions, but we were able to have I see what you're saying. I just happen to disagree, but I see what you're saying. Well, you know what? I see what you're saying also. And it's refreshing to be able to have those without getting into fights and walking away hating each other. And at the end of the evening, after the final glass of Cabernet, we was able to all hug each other and say, that was a great conversation. We'll see you tomorrow, right? And the problem is, I think what you're saying, Wes, too, is doing those things on air, there's no editing, especially with live, right? If that thing goes kittywampus real fast, you can't pull that back, right? And it's a danger zone that you just shouldn't go into, right?
Well, the other thing is that what are people going to do with that information while it's out there and you haven't given your side of it? I mean, I could take a piece of any of our conversations and make it look like we're monsters, by just some simple editing. We're not monsters, but the problem is that there is a lot of different things out there with face matching and voice matching and just a lot of things that you really can't believe what you see anymore. Especially with editing. But then when they take it another step further and add this dark web stuff to it, the next thing you know, I think they refer to it as a deep fake. And next thing you know, they can take Sean's face and put it on Al Pacino on Letterman, and you would never know that it wasn't Sean. I mean, it sounds like Pacino, but it looks like Sean. And somebody might watch and go, "What is this?" Well, you were on Letterman, and you can impersonate Pacino, and it is just almost to the point that you think, well, gosh, have I ever been duped? Have I ever gotten raged about something I watched and it wasn't even real? And the answer is probably yes. And the other thing that happens is whether it's the gorilla here at the Cincinnati Zoo that they shot, Cecil the lion, this young lady that was killed by her boyfriend allegedly, in the van life thing, or pick your poison. People pick certain things, and when they get behind it and they get voracious and evangelistic about it, the next thing you know, it takes on a life of its own, and people start making decisions long before they ever get the true knowledge. My mom would say something like, "I just can't stand their tweets," and in this particular case, it was Donald Trump. Okay, and I said to her, "Have you ever been on Twitter?" "No." "Well, then how do you not like their tweets?" And so it's something that you can't make an opinion about something until you know all the facts. And unfortunately, people go very, very quick, anymore. So you're right, Randy. You say something and don't have the time to defend it, and it might take off like a wildfire and cancel you.
And we've seen that, in the public life with people way more public than us, but using both sides. Forget which side we're on here, but a Trump or a Biden. And let's face it, you can take anything they say with no context to it and make them sound like they hate something or are for something because you didn't get the before and after, right? And if that's all there is and there's no defense to it, and I think that's what we're talking about, is we go off the rail on something, and all of a sudden somebody just goes on and says, "Well, I don't like this Randy guy anymore because he said this." Well, that's not even close to what I said. I said it in a sentence of 7 sentences, or nothing of what I said. But you're right. You don't get to go back and defend that. You can try, but after it's happened, it sounds like trying to defend something that you might have done wrong, right? You can't go back. So, like you said, I think just if we keep it as uncontroversial as possible. But I think Sean's right. I don't think there's anything wrong with disagreeing politely and that type of thing. But well, guys, I know we're running up on close to an hour here, and I have a cab coming in about 20 minutes. So, hey, I run my schedule pretty close at times. But Sean, any final words, my friend?
Thank you so much for inviting me, along with the other Megaminders, to be here on the show today. It's always good to have a conversation with you guys, and frankly, to have it out in public, to live there forever on the internet is just, it gives me goosebumps. So, Wes, I will be looking forward to talking with you soon. I'll reach out to you and we'll schedule some time because I definitely want to talk about affiliate marketing. And Randy, I want to know when you're going to get yourself to see metal sales, because
It will be before sooner than later, because I do need to get in there, and we will get together in the greater Louisville area. I'm going to say within 30 days or less.
That sounds great. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, buddy. Wes, that was good stuff, huh?
That was great stuff. It's always good to get together with the Megaminds.
It is. It is.
Lost your sound, brother. There we go. You're back.
Am I off screen now? Nope, there I am.
Nope, you're back.
The beautiful thing about this whole Megamind thing is, like we said, to kind of wrap it up, is that was our group. We happen to be a group of completely no. I don't think. Well, there might be a couple, but there's very little we're like-minded, but nobody does the same stuff, I guess, in our group. We're pretty diverse, if you will, and our backgrounds and what we do. And that's what's been incredibly helpful, is that, like we said early on, I think you said, you get a group like that, and if anybody has an issue, they throw it onto the mastermind messenger, and there's all these little tidbits and helps, and call this guy, or hey, here's what you do, or go into Instagram and plug this button and then touch that. You know, it's amazing how you get a different view. But maybe a final question for you: have you been involved with mastermind groups from your industry of social media management and virtual and producing and directing and all the stuff you do? I mean, what do you think about groups, of mastermind groups of a like industry? Does that make sense? Do you think?
I think that it's a must. I think that if you don't belong to one, you need to get into one or several. The biggest thing is make sure that you have the time to actually engage, because if you join something and then you don't engage, you're really, just kind of wasting everyone's time, yours and the persons that go through and approve and everything. But I think being in one is a must, because
hey, Wes, I don't know if it's you or me, but I don't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me now? Okay.
Let me try one last time. Don't you love one last time? We'll try this. If not,
Randy is having technical difficulties, fans. So he's going to try to pop back on here. And if he doesn't, then we will be wrapping this up, and I'll be doing all sorts of editing to make sure that everything looks like it makes sense. It's not looking good, is it? All right. Well, guys, Randy has said that it's okay to go ahead and close out. So I'm going to thank you very, very much for being on this episode of Building Wins Live. Normally, I am behind the scenes. So I want to let you know about next week, and that is we are going to be having Dan Altmeyer. He is going to be on the show next week, October the 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Randy. And we will do the same thing that we always do, which is interview him, and we'll have lots and lots of clips and bonus materials that'll come after that. And then other than that, I hope you guys are absolutely having a great week. I hope you're on your way to a great weekend. And as always, have a dynamite day. We'll talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.